When was the last time you did something difficult on purpose? Not because you had to, but because something in you said, "This is right, even if it's hard." What are you really avoiding when you open another incognito tab? It's not just a quick fix, is it? It's a doorway. Away from responsibility, away from presence, away from yourself. Do you even know what you're capable of? Or have you never really tried? Because it's easy to spend your 20s coasting, numbing the ache with dopamine, stacking trophies in digital worlds, never facing the real dragons. But something inside you already knows. This isn't it. You weren't made to be comfortable. You were made to answer a call. There's a reason so many men feel restless right now. Like something essential is missing. It's not a new job, or another game, or some travel plan you saw on Instagram. It's something deeper. You feel it when the noise fades. When you're alone in your room at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering what the hell you're doing with your life. And you're not alone in that. It's the condition of the modern man, surrounded by entertainment, but starving for meaning. The ancient Greeks knew this hunger. They called it thumos, the spirited drive toward excellence. Not comfort, not safety, but excellence. Something that makes your life worth the suffering. Plato said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." That line wasn't meant to sound poetic. It was a warning. Because if you don't examine your life, if you never stop to ask why you're doing what you're doing, you'll drift, decade by decade, distraction by distraction, until you wake up with nothing real to show for it. The call to something greater isn't a voice from the sky. It's the ache you feel when you realize you've been living small. It's that quiet grief that you could be more. If only you had the courage to begin. You don't need motivation. You need to remember who the hell you are. The old myths still matter, maybe now more than ever. Joseph Campbell laid it out. The hero's journey starts with a call, then comes resistance, then a threshold, a line you must cross. After that, struggle, failure, loss, and only then, transformation. But the modern man has been sold a counterfeit version of this path. Influencer hustle culture tells you the journey is about money, girls, cars. That success is measured in how loud your life is. The truth is quieter. The real enemies today are subtle. They don't wear armor or breathe fire. They sit in your pocket, waiting to pull your attention into oblivion. They whisper, "There's still time. You can start tomorrow." But what if there isn't a tomorrow? What if this is the moment? Your hero's journey won't look like a sword fight on a battlefield. It might look like going to bed on time, turning off porn, facing that email, showing up for someone who needs you, doing what's right even when no one claps. Because the modern hero isn't the loudest. He's the one who chooses to stay, to build, to carry. They lied to you. They told you freedom was about having more options. That commitment was a trap. That monogamy was boring. But here's the truth. The deepest joy in a man's life doesn't come from endless variety. It comes from depth, from being known, from being needed. Hookups might feel like power, but they're hollow. A quick high followed by a quiet low. And over time, that low becomes a baseline. When you build with one woman, when you weather storms and grow through conflict and see each other through different seasons of life, something changes in you. Your ego gets stripped down. Your excuses don't work anymore. You become accountable not just to her, but to yourself. Monogamy isn't about settling down. It's about stepping up. It's the training ground for fatherhood, for leadership, for legacy. In a world that treats everything as disposable, staying becomes a revolutionary act. The men who walk this path don't do it because it's easy. They do it because they know the alternative. Loneliness masked by conquest. And they choose something better. Because they've learned this truth. Love is not found. It is forged. Every generation has had its temptations. But ours, yours, has perfected distraction into an art form. It's not just that TikTok is addictive or that video games are fun. It's that these things are engineered to keep you passive, docile, contained. You get your dopamine fix without ever earning it, and over time, that changes you. If your days are filled with notifications, scrolling, porn tabs, and quick wins in virtual worlds, ask yourself this: what are you not building? What real-world mountain have you left unclimbed? Because the longer you live in a loop of instant gratification, the more distant the real adventure becomes. The kind of life that requires effort, risk, and consequence. You don't have to be a monk, but you do have to start noticing the difference between relief and fulfillment. One fades as soon as you close the app. The other stays with you, reshapes you. Distraction is not neutral. It is theft. And what it's stealing is your time, which is the one thing you cannot get back. You are not meant to do this alone. And I don't just mean romantically, though that's part of it. I mean that a meaningful life is not built in isolation. At some point, you will have to choose who you walk beside. And the woman you choose, she'll either help you grow into your mission, or she'll pull you away from it. This is not about control or power. It's about alignment, shared values, common vision. If you want a family, a legacy, a stable home, then don't chase chaos in the form of passion. Find someone whose eyes look in the same direction as yours. The truth is, many men sabotage their lives by choosing partners who are thrilling in the short term, but unaligned in the long term. You don't build a cathedral on unstable ground. And you don't build a future with someone who doesn't want the same future. Find a woman who wants what you want. Not just someone who makes your heart race, but someone who helps your soul rest. Purpose is not a slogan. It's not something you find on a motivational podcast or scribble in a journal after a cold shower. It's something you build, brick by brick, decision by decision. What does it mean to build a life of purpose? It means asking the hard questions. What am I meant to protect? What am I willing to sacrifice for? What will I leave behind when I'm gone? It doesn't matter if you work in finance or construction or write novels at midnight. What matters is that your life begins to aim towards something higher than yourself. That you use your gifts in service of something real. Your future children, your community, your craft, your values. The man without purpose is a feather in the wind. Purpose is the anchor and the sail. Without it, there is no direction. With it, even the hardest storm becomes bearable. There's a part of you, quiet, buried, ancient, that longs for the feminine. Not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually. Jung called it the anima, the inner feminine archetype in every man. And if you don't know her, she will control you. You will mistake fantasy for connection. You will confuse lust for love. You will fall for illusions that wear someone else's face. The goal is not to destroy her. She's not your enemy. But she must be made conscious. You must learn to feel her stirrings, the longing, the idealization, the projection, and not let them blind you. She is your bridge to your emotional depth, your creativity, your capacity to feel. But if left unchecked, she becomes a siren, leading you off your path and into obsession. Integrating the anima means this: learning to distinguish between what is real and what is a projection, between the woman in front of you and the myth you've cast upon her. Once you can tell the difference, you can start to relate, truly relate, with love, not illusion. We are living in an age of endless scroll. Faces, bodies, smiles, eyes, filtered and polished to algorithmic perfection. And somewhere deep in your psyche, a question lingers. What if the perfect one is just one more swipe away? This illusion, the perfect woman, the soulmate who completes you effortlessly, is not new. It's ancient. But the internet has weaponized it, turned it into a dopamine slot machine. Every profile, every reel, every fantasy reinforces the same lie: that your ideal partner is out there, flawless, waiting to be discovered. But perfection is a mirage. The anima, that psychic figure Jung described, thrives on fantasy. She shows you what you lack and then whispers, she's out there and she'll fix everything. But love doesn't look like that. Real intimacy is raw. It's clumsy. It's someone misunderstanding you at the worst moment and choosing to stay anyway. It's the tearful arguments, the slammed doors, the long silences, and then, somehow, the quiet reconciliation. The truth is, there is no perfect partner, only people who are willing to grow together, who will bear witness to your darkest moments and let you into theirs. If you chase perfection, you will always be lonely. If you accept imperfection, you may finally be loved. Adventure. The word conjures images of danger, mystery, discovery. We think of journeys into the unknown, of conquering mountains or chasing passions across the world. And yet we overlook the most dangerous and transformative journey of all: choosing one person and staying. Modern culture romanticizes freedom, but often it's just avoidance in disguise. It's easy to flee, to ghost, to move on the moment things feel real. But there's nothing heroic about that. Commitment is the real crucible. To wake up next to the same soul for years, to witness them through illness, boredom, grief, growth, is not a detour from your life's purpose. It is your life's purpose. It's the terrain where your character is formed, your patience tested, your ego softened, your soul matured. Monogamy, when done consciously, isn't a cage, it's a cathedral. It shelters the sacred. It forces you to burn away the parts of yourself that are unfaithful, impulsive, and selfish. And in that fire, something new is born: devotion, depth, trust. The boy wants passion. The man builds a home. In a world addicted to chaos, stability is radical. Everything around you screams for novelty. New content, new clothes, new relationships, new distractions. You are taught to fear repetition, to equate routine with death. But here's the truth. Growth doesn't happen in chaos. It happens in rhythm. Discipline is not just about grinding or hustling. It's about becoming dependable to yourself. When you show up at the gym, at your work, in your relationship, day after day, even when you don't feel like it, you begin to forge something unshakable inside. Stability allows you to stop leaking energy. It lets your nervous system rest. It allows your creativity to stretch out its arms and breathe. And ironically, it's within routine that the deepest adventures take place. Not the loud external ones, but the subtle internal ones. The kind where you become the sort of man others can rely on. The kind who can build, protect, provide. Stability is not the death of freedom. It is the foundation of it. Modern culture is not neutral. It has an agenda. and it's not in your best interest. You are being conditioned from every direction to remain boyish, passive, endlessly available, endlessly amused. You're told that settling down is selling out, that marriage is a trap, that women are games to win or trophies to collect, that family life is boring, and self-indulgence is liberation. But look deeper. Look at the men who followed that script. They are not thriving. They are drifting. Eventually, they wake up alone. Not because they couldn't find someone, but because they never became someone worth staying with. Their life is a patchwork of shallow experiences, forgotten names, and dopamine withdrawals. To resist this cultural tide is to rebel, to become dangerous in the best sense of the word, dangerous to the algorithms, the hookup culture, the voices that profit off your distraction. You don't need to scream, you just need to build a life of purpose, a family with roots, a home where your values are not just spoken, but lived. Resisting culture doesn't mean hating the world. It means choosing not to be swallowed by it. Responsibility. It's a word that's lost its weight in our time. You hear it and think of chores, deadlines, bills. Maybe the fear of being tied down. But in truth, responsibility is the soul's scaffolding. It's what gives your life weight, shape, and direction. Without it, you drift. You weren't made to drift. There is a particular kind of meaning that only reveals itself when others depend on you. When your presence matters not just for yourself, but for the well-being of someone else. A partner, a child, a household, a legacy. Most men spend years trying to feel enough before they commit. But here's the twist. It's responsibility that makes you enough. Taking on the burden is what grows your strength. It's what chisels your character. You don't wait until you're ready. You become ready by stepping into it. When you choose to protect someone, to provide not just money, but presence, to show up even when you're tired, confused, or tempted to run, that's when your life begins to mean something far beyond pleasure or achievement. Responsibility is not the enemy of freedom. It is the root of earned freedom. It frees you from the shallow self, the one chasing likes, lust, and lazy afternoons. And it ushers you into a fuller self, the one who can stand tall in any storm, knowing others are safe because I chose to carry the weight. You want meaning? Start with what or who you're willing to carry. There's a quiet, noble joy that comes from walking this path. Not the loud fireworks of the instant gratification, not the likes or attention or casual affirmation, but the slow-burning satisfaction of becoming someone solid, someone trustworthy, someone who doesn't just chase the light, but radiates it. You begin to experience peace, not because life gets easier, but because you become stronger. You look at the woman beside you and realize, this is not a conquest, this is a covenant. You look at your children one day and see your values living in their eyes. You look in the mirror and see a man you respect. That's the reward. Not applause, not virality, not perfection. Just the quiet, consistent warmth of knowing your life matters, that you are building something eternal in a world obsessed with the temporary. And maybe right now, none of that feels close to you. Maybe you're stuck in loops, porn, games, scrolling, sleeping too late, waking up already tired. Maybe you've never had a model of what real manhood looks like. Maybe you're thinking, this sounds good, but I don't even know where to start. Start here. Start with the next right thing. That's all you ever have to do. You're not expected to become a warrior, a husband, a father, a leader overnight. You're only expected to begin. No matter how far you've drifted, the path back is not gone. It's right beneath your feet, buried, maybe neglected, but waiting. You have more strength than you think. You are not too far gone. You are not too broken. In fact, the very fact that you're watching this, that something in you wants this, means you're already being called. Your wounds don't disqualify you. They make you human. Your failures don't define you. They're lessons. And your loneliness, it's not a curse. It's a compass pointing to the connection and meaning your soul is starving for. You can change. You can grow. You can rise. You just have to decide, I won't numb out anymore. I won't let distraction rob me of my purpose. I will answer the call. If any part of this reached you, sit with it. Don't scroll away just yet. Take one breath, one moment, and ask yourself, what kind of man do I want to become? This channel exists for you. For men who want more than what culture offers. For men who feel the ache of potential and are ready to do something about it. Subscribe if this resonates. Share this if you know someone who needs to hear it. But most importantly, begin. Begin your hero's journey. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now, because the world doesn't just need more content. It needs more men who are rooted, clear, and courageous enough to build something real. That could be you. Let's walk it together.